Hare Krishna. So at the beginning of our speech, we always offer Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnana Anjana Shalakaya. The meaning of this prayer is, first of all, I offer my namaskar to my Guru, who lit up the torchlight of knowledge in my heart. And because of his grace, I have learned what I know about God, about this world, about my duty, and what is right and what is wrong, and all these things. Imagine you are walking in a field on an Amavasya night. It is pitch dark. And when you are walking in a field, there is a possibility of some reptiles, like some snakes or some scorpions. Correct, no? There's always a danger. And there are instances of people bitten by snakes and they die also, isn't it? Imagine somebody brings a big floodlight, torchlight for you, which lights up the entire road. How thankful you will be, because that saves you from the fear of snakes and scorpions, isn't it? Similarly, when we are living in this world, especially in this day and age, students are suffering from loneliness, from depression, inferiority complex, and cutthroat competition, and broken love, and so many other things, which are like scorpion and snake bites. And they are taking to sleeping pills, tranquilizers, painkillers, or watching TV, watching movie. Or some people are so much suffering that they want to sleep permanently by committing suicide. So in such a day and age, the knowledge by which we can become happy becomes very essential. So yes, that knowledge is like a torchlight on an Amavasya night. Why we suffer? Because we are in ignorance, which is characterized by darkness. That's why we suffer in this world. But when the torchlight of knowledge awakens, we have no more fear. Just like all of you here in this room, you are sitting fearlessly because the room is lit up. If this room were pitch dark and there is a possibility of snake and scorpions, you would be living in fear. So, I was thanking my spiritual master for giving me the knowledge of God. And this session number 2, which is entitled Access the Truth Beyond 4 Defects. So, sometimes in a computer, you put your cursor in a file and you press a button, access denied, it says. We are not allowed entry. But there is sometimes a password or something, which if you have, then you can get access to it. You can get the access to the truth. So, the truth about God, the truth about the world, all these things are available, the knowledge is available. But for accessing the truth, first of all, one should be willing to sit and listen, which all of you have agreed to do. We have come for the second session now, enthusiastically. And this itself will give you access to the ultimate truth. And in this session, we are also going to learn about the 4 defects which actually cause limitations in us understanding the truth, and how to go beyond those limitations and access the truth about God, life and happiness. Everything will be revealed. Let's proceed. The summary is given here. Vedic wisdom, Shabda, gives perfect knowledge of absolute truth, which is free from 4 defects. And imperfect relative truth. We keep discovering better and better imperfect relative truths because humans have 4 defects. This is a summary. I will explain the summary briefly. You see, in the previous class I told you, Dalton said atom cannot be split. Rutherford said atom can be split. And Bohr gave a more complete model. In this way you find, in the field of science, the truths are found out by certain scientists which are always changed, updated and modified. Certain theories are rejected and new theories come up in the field of science. And what is the main reason for that? That is explained here. that there are 4 defects in our system which make us perceive the truth differently. And that we will show you in this session. Why different scientists are seeing from different angles and calling and coming up with newer and newer and newer theories. That is because of the different relative truths. Relative truth means if this is absolute truth, this is relative truth. And this is a better relative truth. Even more better relative truth. And this is absolute truth. But unfortunately in this world, all our scientific researchers are providing us different relative truths. But the summary says here, Vedic wisdom gives us absolute truth. So today we shall see why science is providing relative truths and while the Vedas are providing absolute truth. How is it? We will see today. Yes? First we will tell you a story of 6 blind men. Then there are 3 ways to gain knowledge. We will elaborate on it. And then we will come to the 4 defects that we were speaking about. And why we call the Vedic knowledge as perfect. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. You can switch it off. Once upon a time, 6 men came across an elephant. You see, they had never seen an elephant before. This is the first time in their life they are seeing an elephant. Of course, they are not seeing, they are blind men. They are perceiving an elephant by touch sensation. So one of them was touching the tusks of the elephant and said, the elephant is sharp, like an arrow. He said. And another fellow was touching the trunk of the elephant, and the trunk of the elephant is, twisted like this, so he thought it is a snake. Another fellow was sitting on the top of the elephant and touching the ears, and he thought it is like some axe or something. Another fellow was touching the side of the elephant and he thought it is like a wall. Another fellow was touching the leg of an elephant. When he embraced it, it appeared like a trunk of a tree. Another fellow caught hold of the tail. He said, "What are you fellows saying? This is just like a rope." And just see, every one of them is saying altogether different detail. See, what they are saying is not false, but it is incomplete truth. Every one of them is saying a relative truth. This is the meaning of relative truth. Relative truth means incomplete truth. They do not have the total picture of what an elephant is. At that time, a Pandita was passing by who had the eyes to see. So he looked at the elephant and all these men, bluffing different things. So he called them all and said, "Let me tell you what an elephant is. When you hear me, then you will see that there is no contradiction in what you all are saying. All of you are saying, catching one side of the elephant and telling about the elephant. Now hear about it, how it looks like." So the Pandita started describing. The elephant has a trunk, the nose like a snake, it has the sharp tusks like an arrow, and it has a huge head, and his ears are very big like this, and the body is so huge. So when he explained, all of them picturized an elephant in their mind, how elephant looks like. Then they got the total understanding of an elephant. Now they could understand the total truth. So this story teaches us a very important lesson. In this world we get relative truth about something, but if you want to know the perfect truth, it is better to ask somebody who can see. For instance, I want to come to your house. Say, one of you are living in, say, Akola, but I am going Akola for the first time. So I landed in Akola bus stop, and then I don't know how to come to your house. There are many lanes and many streets, and I am not able to locate. But I can do one very simple thing. I can just make a phone call to you and tell me, "Can you please pick me up from the station?" And then you come and you pick me up and take me to your home, which you know very well. How to go to your home. Nobody needs to teach you how to go to your home. So you are a man knowledgeable about your home. I am a man not in knowledge. So I have to learn from a person who is in knowledge by taking help of him. Then I reach the destination very easily. Go ahead. So there are three ways of gaining knowledge, called as Pratyaksha Praman, Anumana Praman, and Shabda Praman. See, these three are three different ways of gaining knowledge. After hearing about all of them, you can see which one gives you the perfect truth, complete truth, not an incomplete truth. Yeah. Go ahead. So, in this picture you see a railway line appears to be converging at a certain point, isn't it? Does it ever meet? It never meets at all. It's a parallel line, but it appears to be meeting. Similarly, you see when you insert a pencil inside a glass, it appears to be broken, although it is not broken. You all have experience of this by law of refraction, reflection because of that. Similarly, you see there is a car going in the road. It appears that the road is having some flowing water, but there is no water in the road. What is it? Mirage. It appears like water. So Pratyaksha Praman means direct sense perception. Seeing with the eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. Whatever we perceive, that's called as Pratyaksha Praman. How is it that our eyes are telling us that the railway line is converging? Why is it showing like this? That means, what's the problem with our eye? Okay, 1 minute. Okay. It's not there. Okay, we go to the next one. Yeah, we cannot acquire complete knowledge using our material senses like eyes, ears, etc. This is a very practical fact which scientists have found out, that we will show in the subsequent slides the limitation of every one of the senses. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Out of the four defects, the first one is the imperfect senses. Yeah. To be illusion, tendency to commit mistakes, and cheating propensity. You can go a bit slowly. You can go back to the first one. See the imperfect senses. He talks about the electromagnetic spectrum, where the visible range is very limited. And outside that, there are alpha rays, beta rays, gamma rays, positive rays, so many other rays which we have no ability to perceive. Next. And the second one, to illusion, shows that looks like a big bag or something, isn't it? It's a lorry. And the other lorry seems to be having a bottle, but that's only a picture. Yes? Yeah? I think this was copying in the exam. So cheating propensity is there also in everybody. Okay? Go ahead. So let's discuss one by one. So our eyes are blind outside the range of 400 to 700 millimicron. The Vibgaya, the 7 colors, they fall in the visible range. And outside the visible range, you cannot see. As you see the other different waves. Then how did scientists know? How do you know there is X-ray? Because when it falls on a photographic plate, based on the effect it produces, you say there is X-ray. Correct, no? There are AM waves, there are FM waves, there are positive rays. So based on the effect they produce, man has found out that such kind of rays are existing. But otherwise our eyes are blind. For example, you take 0.1 millimeter. Below that, if you draw 1,000 lines, our eyes will perceive it as how many lines? Single line. You know, in physics laboratory we use gratings, So if you see, they draw multiple lines within 0.1 mm, but we cannot perceive with our naked eye. Like if you see, if you take a black powder and you take a white chalk powder and you mix both of them, they appear gray. It appears like a gray color powder. But you put it under a microscope, then you will see there are black particles and white particles. But when you see with the naked eye, it appears to be just like a grey powder, you see. Which means our eyes are wrongly decoding. Eyes don't tell you that this is a combination of black and white. They don't say like that. You only see it as a grey powder like that. Because of this, our eyes, in one sense, are blind. And also, our eyes go by experience. Like sometimes they make a huge size book. This thickness also shown. From a distance when you say it appears like a book, isn't it? But when you come and when you try to open it, the book doesn't open only because it is simply made up of some, flex or something like that. Correct, no? So our eyes go by experience from a distance. Okay, that's coming in the next one. Go ahead. You see here, this is a dog having a different frequency. His frequency is 50,000 hertz, whereas our frequency is 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz only. Correct? Outside that we are deaf practically. Yeah, next slide shows also more. I don't know. Next one. That one. So there they have shown, there the slide shows about the ultrasonic frequencies. Like for example, there is a machine which like in our temple, in the cooking department, they want to avoid the rats. So they have a machine. What is that machine? You put on the machine, it will give out loud sound. It will make sound. And all the rats will flee in all directions. But you cannot hear any sound. Why? Because it is outside 20 to 20 kilohertz. You don't even know that the machine is on. You just put the plug, but all the rats will think, why are they making such a noise? They will run in all directions. And once we put on that, after that there is no address of the rats only. All the rats are gone now. Because they have a different frequency. But our eyes are our ears are deaf. Outside there, yes? Yeah. This is another example of defects for the eyes. You see, the scientists thought that with our eyes we cannot see the astronomical objects so well. So let us have extended eyes in the form of telescopes. So we can put more and more lens and see the objects. So scientists thought for every one of the senses we can have extended senses, extended ears, extended eyes, extended tongue. So they thought that we can have like that. So that way they thought that we will not have any limitations. But what Rajan Vigner says, so he says, even if we photograph stars, eventually we have to take in by our senses what the photo shows. That means we cannot avoid the defect in the research. Because it may be possible that you have a more higher clarity, more higher resolution by having the lens and everything. But still you are taking in the detail from your eyes only. Like in my metallurgical laboratory, I have done checking of the metals, different metals, when you study the structures under a microscope. So when you see martensite structure or whatever structure you have to see, you see through the eyes only, correct, no? You have to see through the eyes. Eyes have to come into picture. So once the eyes come, then the defect also comes. Furthermore, without our senses, we cannot handle a camera. That is true. Even if we amplified or refined by instruments, the knowledge is no more perfect than our imperfect senses. So this is a quote by Nobel Prize winning scientist himself. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So because the first defect, mistakes, what is the first defect? Imperfect senses. Because we have imperfect senses, we are put into illusion. The meaning of the word illusion means considering a rope to be a snake. Imagine somebody has kept a rope like this, it appears like a snake, you become frightened, and then you don't see the rope moving at all. But then you go near, take a stick and beat it, and then you realize it's only a rope. It is not a snake. On the other hand, one day you go to the bathroom, a real snake is sleeping there in the bathroom. And you thought the other day also I thought it, Now you go and pick up the rope. Then you realize. So both are called illusion. Considering a rope to be a snake and snake to be a rope. Correct, no? So how many of you don't want to be an illusion? Because you want to be saved from the snake, correct, no? Yeah. That means we want to see the truth perfectly. We don't want to see the truth imperfectly. Here is the example. Say if you first eat gulab jamun and then you eat an orange, the orange will be appearing sour. But if you drink some lemon juice and then you take Mosambi juice, then it will be sweeter. You will see. It's the same lemon appears sour or sweeter. Correct, no? It's because of the conditioning of the tongue by the sugar or the lemon. So in this way, the Mosambi juice sometimes appears sour or it's sweeter because of the preconditioning. Similarly, here it is said, water touched with warm hand appears cool. Yeah. But water touched with a cold hand appears warm. Like it depends on what conditioning you did for the hand before. If you put your hand in chill water and touch room temperature water, it will appear warm. If you touched hot water and then you touch, so in this way, the same substance is perceived as hot or cold differently. Substance is same, but because of illusion. Go ahead. Yeah. See, here we are going to give you a small test for you. You have to use your creativity and think at your own feet and come up with answers. So we are going to show you a picture which has multiple pictures in it. You have to see from different angle. Let us see. Show it. So what do you observe in this picture? Yeah? How many of you observe an old woman? You are able to observe? Okay. How many of you observe a young girl? Okay. Let us check. The tip of the nose of the old woman is chin of the young girl. And the ear of the young girl is eyes of the old woman. Correct. And the mouth of the old woman is something in the neck of the young girl. Correct, no? So the old woman is looking down and the young girl is looking in the side. So how many of you are now able to observe both? Yeah. So when two scientists are watching, one scientist says light is a particle. Another scientist says light is a wave. Newton's corpuscular theory, Huygens wave theory, two are perceiving the light from two different angles. If you see like this, and there was a big fight going on for a long time in the field of science. So many research papers published also. So in this way, our eyes have the defect of perceiving the same object in multiple ways. So because of that, we are unable to hold on to the complete truth. Imagine if one of you is able to see only a young girl. You have no habit of seeing old woman at all in life. So you will only see a young girl only. Whereas another fellow is saying only old woman. Correct, no? So both of you, then you both will have a big fight. That you will consider the other person a fool. Correct, no? But actually both are there in this. So in this way, this is due to the defect of the eye, there is so much quarrel going on in this world between people. And especially in the field of scientific research, you will find research is all about one scientist proposing a theory and another fellow coming and defeating it. And proposing a new theory. And a third fellow will defeat both the previous theories. And he will come up with yet another one. And there is no end to this. And the life goes on like this, researching more and more. Go ahead, next one. So what do you see very prominently in this? Triangle, which doesn't exist. So, as you are perceiving this triangle, white triangle here, because of the orientation of the three objects, the way they are kept, imagine there are three astronomical objects arranged in such a way that you perceive an object in between them which doesn't exist. It can happen. That means our eyes can say that something exists which actually doesn't exist. Amazing, no? Something doesn't only exist, but our eyes say that it exists. then how can we believe our eyes? It is talking about something which doesn't exist at all as something existing. Go to the next one. What do you find here? An old man and old woman looking at each other. And another young man playing a guitar. How many of you seeing a young man with guitar? Yeah. And you also see another girl sitting with a topi side. And the young man is playing guitar and somebody is watching outside the home, standing at a distance. So, in this way, you find, if you watch more carefully, you will find one golden, this thing also, what do you call that? Like a gold vessel. Like we give awards, no? What do you call that? Trophy. Like a golden trophy. How many of you are observing a golden trophy? Yeah, there's a golden trophy also kept there in between. So there are so many things in this one picture, which clearly shows that in this world, everybody who has this defect, one of the 4 defects to be illusion, is going to come up with different truths. When they are looking at the same thing, multiple people come with multiple truths. Yeah, next one. What do you find here? See, it comes like the ships are coming, but behind you find the bridges. It appears like a fleet of ships are moving. It appears like that. But from another perspective, you find the bridges. Long bridge, tall bridge. You see that. So because of the illusion of our eye, different people perceive different things from the same picture. Go ahead. Now you observe the picture. How many of you see vertical cylinders rotating? You're able to see? Yeah. So, but these are all drawings just put on a paper. How can it rotate? But that means our eyes have a certain type of defect, because of which they make stationary things to appear to be moving. Although this is a stationary picture, you think anybody is moving the paper? No, but it appears to be moving. Earlier I told you something doesn't exist, but the eyes say they exist. Now something is not moving, but the eyes say they are moving. That's a defect of the eye. Yes. Now here what do you see? What happens? They're rotating. If you keep watching them for a long time, they will all rotate. You will see that. Go to the next one. Like you see which fellow looks shortest? The fellow extreme left, he appears the shortest, right? And the fellow in the extreme right appears the tallest. But do you know what the fact is? All are same height. Because of the orientation of the lines, they appear to be of different sizes, although they all are the same height. This is another type of illusion, which happens due to perspective. Like your railway line we showed you, it appears to be converging. Similarly, this also makes us think that the people are shorter and taller, although they have the same size. Go ahead. Now you move yourself towards and away, all of you towards the center. Look at the center and move yourself towards it. And move away from it. Move towards it. So you find two of them circles moving. Opposite directions they move. So inside circle moving clockwise and anti-clockwise. If you move forward and backward, no, inside circle moving anti-clockwise. Outside circle moving clockwise. You saw that? So, if you focus on the center and you move your backwards and forwards, this is what you find. Although it's a stationary picture, but you find them moving. Yeah. Click it. I have to click it. Click the video. It's a video. Click it. Video, click it. See, these are all drawings drawn on the ground. Does it appear like drawing? See here. See, this is a drawing. because of an illusion, our eyes can cheat us. Yeah, go ahead. You see, because first we told you that we have imperfect senses. Because of that we are illusioned. And because we are illusioned, the result is many. One is something doesn't exist, but our eyes say it exists. And like recently I showed you the pictures. It appears like some big depression on the ground, but it is just a picture. From a distance it appears like a depression. So there is no earthquake or anything that happened, but it looks like a broken hole below. So I say something exists, it doesn't exist. And I say something doesn't exist, but it exists. It says like that. And also eyes imagine that something is rotating, although it is stationary. And eyes also see multiple truths from the same picture also. From different, selective vision we call it. One is a selective vision, young girl, old woman. Selective vision. And then another one which is contextual vision. Because the three things are placed in a certain way, you saw the white triangle. So, for example, anybody has a white pen, Reynolds pen with you? Anybody has a white pen with you? Yeah, please send it here. Imagine here there's a blackboard and I'm showing it and asking all of you, what is it? What are you likely to say? Piece of chalk. This is called contextual vision. Because you know that this fellow is holding something white and is standing next to the blackboard. So it is likely to be what? But I tell him that, sir, this is a Reynolds pen. And then he tells the next one, Reynolds pen, Reynolds pen, Reynolds pen, Reynolds pen. Now I am asking, now the message is passed on up to the last person. Now he is sitting in the chair, I am asking you, what is it? Now you will say Reynolds pen. But how did you come to know it? So you have to hear knowledge from a perfect person who knows the knowledge perfectly. Then only you can know the truth. Otherwise everybody may be thinking, based on the defects they have, that this is a chalk piece, which is not. And that is why in the field of science, you find that people are perceiving something and they write a theory based on that. Till now we have discussed only two defects. What is the first defect? Imperfect senses, like the eyes, ears, we showed you, tongue and everything. What is the second defect? To be illusion. So because we have imperfect senses, we are illusion. And when we are illusioned, we are sure to commit mistakes. Because based on our senses, we are perceiving. So somebody may say it's a chalk, somebody may say it's a pen, different people may say different things. Or somebody may say it's a lollipop stick or something. Different people may say different things about it. So that's what happened in the field of science. The scientists, since the time immemorial, have been observing the world around. And they have always wanted to find out what is what. Because they want to study the nature. So once you study the nature, you can exploit the nature in a way it can bring comforts and luxuries for us. So let us see what mistakes happened when the scientific research progressed. Our brain was earlier thought of as an organ to cool the blood, somewhat like a radiator in a car. You all know a radiator in a car? The water goes there from the engine, gets cooled and goes back. So scientists also thought the brain is like that. It's just, maybe the blood is taken there to cool and sent back. Later on they found out that the brain is the center of the body, which sends out signals, what to do, when to do, how to do everything to different parts of the body. It's such an important part. They thought of to be somewhat like a cooling agent or something like that. Yes. At one time they were thinking pituitary glands, which is called as master glands, to be a vestige or a useless part of the body. See, in our body, scientists were saying at one time, this is from the medical researchers, they said there are 12 vestiges in our body. And they were arguing, see, if you say this body is created by God, then there should be no waste part of the body. Every part of the body should be useful. If there are some vestiges which are wasteful parts of the body, that means it has come randomly. Like that they were saying. So, one of the 12 things, wasteful things they considered in the body was the pituitary glands, which is called the master glands. Imagine if you remove the pituitary glands, actually pituitary glands controls the endocrine orchestra. The medulla oblongata, which we have here, all your emotions you feel, happiness, sorrow and everything, for that the pituitary glands is very important. The secretion of the pituitary glands is very important. So at one time it was thought of to be a useless part of the body. Imagine if you remove that, what will happen? Similarly, every one of the vestiges that scientists talked about in those days as considered a useless part, today is proven to be, active part of the body. Active means what? These parts of the body become only active at certain times only. Like a woman has a mammary glands. When she begets a child, that becomes active. Then she is able to give breast milk to the child. Not that every woman can get milk. Which woman can get a milk? Only women who have children. Like a cow having a calf only can give milk. Correct, no? Otherwise a cow will not give milk. So that doesn't mean the milk producing breast of a woman is useless. It has a milk producing ability, but it is only active at certain time, like that. Similarly, every vestige that doctors earlier thought of to be vestige is no more vestige nowadays, which goes to show, imagine if they, like there is a part of the body called appendix, which is considered a vestige. Now why has God kept the vestige? Because the appendix causes one terrible pain. What do you call that? Appendicitis, yeah. So some people have past karma so that the pain can be given in the appendicitis. So that has to be removed. Only then when it is operated, then only they will be peaceful. Correct, no? There is no part of the body created without a purpose. You will always find. And God's creation is very meaningful. See, for example, my eyebrows, they don't grow beyond this. Whereas this hair grows very long. Correct? How amazing it is. Now imagine God made this also grow like this hair. What will happen? Then it will all come like this. And you can't see anybody. Is it not true? And imagine if everybody, this hair doesn't grow like this, it remains like this, then everybody has to be shaven in the world. Is it not true? Because people like to have beautiful hair. They like to decorate the hair. God has given hair. You have disco style, this style, that style, so many styles of hair you can have, correct? And this is another style. Isn't it? This is the 25th style, hairstyle. No? But this one, this eyebrows doesn't grow beyond. Some scientists may say, no, we have found out that there are particular enzymes here which don't let the hair grow beyond this. Another type of enzymes here allow them to grow. This enzyme suppress the growth. That is all right. But who designed it? Who put that enzyme here? Correct? So one scientist said, every part of the body is designed like this. Say, for example, when I take the food and look at the food, with eyes, if it is yesterday's food, it looks little different. Correct, no? It doesn't look good. And then you smell also. How is the smell of the food? Bass. Sometimes the dirty smell comes. It's spoiled. Then you will not eat it. Correct, no? You are confident that it is fresh food. Sometimes they say hot idli, sambar, they're selling in the train. But generally they heat it 2-3 times, day for yesterday they cooked it and today they will heat and give you. Correct, no? But when you take it near, smell comes. Correct, no? And then only you put in the mouth and you crush it and you eat it. Imagine if God kept the eyes here, and the nose in your belly, and the mouth here behind. What you have to do? You have to show to eyes first, and show to nose. But how he has designed it in one place, all in one. As soon as take it, eyes are same, then you put in the mouth like this. So, in this way, there is nothing in God's creation which is a waste. Everything has a purpose. You see? Go ahead. Next one. Yeah. You see, the cosmic yardstick, we call it. Cosmic yardstick means measuring the astronomical distances. In that equation, there was one Hubble constant. But the Hubble constant was changed 3 times. The values were changed again and again. See, every time you change the Hubble constant, the astronomical distance also will vary. Correct, no? Is astronomical distance varying? What do you think? For example, the distance between Earth and Sun. it's fixed, correct, no? Whatever is supposed to be, it is fixed now. Now you change the Hubble constant value 3 times, does this distance change? That doesn't change. So this goes to show that in the field of science, many theories, many theorems which you come up with varying constants like this can lead to wild incorrect accounts. One example I'll tell you. How many of you know about carbon dating technique? Okay. So what is the purpose of carbon dating technique? Anybody can say? To know the age, yeah. Now, see, the carbon dating technique is to know the age of any item, like wood or stone or anything like that. But the problem with this carbon dating technique is, it is plotted on a logarithmic scale. 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 1 lakh. It goes on like that. One small mistake you do, the difference will be thousands of years. Like scientists may say, till now we have been thinking that this is 10,000 years old. Now we have come to know that it's 1 crore years old. One small. So in this way, whatever mistakes we do in our small mistakes in research can lead to large scale differences. You understand? Yeah. Yeah, it can lead to large scale disasters. Yeah, okay. And the 4th defect is cheating propensity. Now, everybody in this world has a cheating propensity. Like say, for example, you were carrying a glass of water. Suddenly it fell on the ground, clang, and it broke. And your father is in another room, he's asking, "Kya ho gaya? What happened?" So what you will say? "Kuch nahi hua." Nothing happened. Correct? And then immediately you sweep it to the corner and everything and put some gobar or something and remove all that fine particles and everything. And father comes and asks, "What was that sound?" No, the wind was blowing, the window panel was making sound. So people, why we generally don't like to be caught doing a mistake? Any of you can say? We don't like to be caught when we do a mistake. Why? Yeah? One is we are scared of punishment. Okay? It shows that we have some defect. It makes us look like a fool. You don't know how to carry water? A glass of water, you put it down and you broke it. कुछ अकल नहीं क्या? People ask like that. Oh, किसी ने बोल दिया हमको अकल नहीं है. So you feel very bad, correct, no? Because how many of you would like to be treated as an intelligent boy, smart boy? Correct, no? All of us. So whenever we commit mistakes, it makes us look not so smart. So who would not want to look smart? That is why we feel bad about it. So the method by which we cover up the mistakes is called cheating. And we cheat to tell lies. And the scientific research over the years has revealed that even scientists have sometimes spoken lies or covered up the mistakes. What is big of scientists? Even we do that. Like in our laboratory sometimes you have to get an endpoint experiment. So first time, sometimes you ask your friend, "Hey, kitna hai reading?" He says 23.6. But sometimes teacher is intelligent. She gives different solution to different people. If everybody is doing the same thing, the reading is likely to be same. But she gives different solution to different people. So this fellow is trying to find out, and he is not getting 2 consecutive readings. So what he will do? He will keep 1 point here, 1 point here, and put a long line. And then after drawing the line, he will put 2-3 points in between. Fit them in. Because otherwise they are not coming in a line, they are going like a snake. So we have a tendency to cheat also in our laboratory. If it is hyperbolic, make it hyperbolic. If it is linear, make it linear. जो भी reading आना चाहिए कर दो. जो भी adjustment करना कर दो बस. We do like. So we also cheat because the tendency is there in humans. What you see in this picture is a pill-down man hoax. You see, in 1911, one scientist said that he has found out a link between apes and human beings. Because Darwin in 1859 proposed a theory that I see there are many species of life. I kept all their pictures and I found that from a rodent, a horse must have come. Rodent is like a rat. And from the rat, he says horse must have come. Similarly, from a bear, the whales must have come. Like the different things he conjectured. Conjectured means he speculated. And he made a kind of series of living beings. And then he also said, currently we have only a few fossils. But if we dig all the fossils out of the earth's crust, then we should see two things. One is unicellular organisms turning into multicellular organisms. And beginning from simple forms, they should become complex forms. And then the most developed form must be the man, who is the Cro-Magnon man. Homo sapiens sapiens, Cro-Magnon man, the most modern developed man should be there. This is what Darwin postulated in 1859. He gave a theory. And some other scientists asked him, how are you confident of your theory? He said, when they dig out and take out all the fossils, if it follows these two laws, unicellular to multicellular, and the evolution should be taking place the way I have predicted, say 1 to 10, this is the way it should evolve. So those two things he said. And also he said, for example, if you take the fish is having fins to steer. Steer means move forward in the pond, isn't it? It should have, and it has got gills for respiration. But if the fish has to come out of water and become an amphibian and a land animal outside, like a frog or like a cat or a dog, which is a land animal, then the gills should turn into lungs and the fins should turn into hands and legs. Correct, no? So that's what he said. Then the scientist asked him, if that is so, then how do you know the fish only has become a land animal? Then he said, there has to be a gradual links of the fins gradually getting converted into hands and legs. And gills also should be gradually getting converted into lungs. So he said, when you dig out the fossils, you have to find out the missing links between. When those links are there, then my this thing is perfect. My evolution theory is perfect. And he of course did say that in case if this doesn't happen, then my theory would be defeated. He said that this is only a postulate, because scientists generally make a proposal, make a postulate. That's what he did. Even when Darwin was in the planet, he was alive, 20 million fossils were dug out. And the fossils are complete. Now many scientists came forward. They invited Darwin for a meeting. And they said, sir, we don't find unicellular organisms turning into multicellular. Rather, we find the initial forms are themselves highly complex. Number one. Number two, we find multiple complex forms simultaneously erupting. Like Cambrian explosion, they call it. Cambrian explosion means multiple living forms suddenly erupting in one of the strata. We don't find them one coming after another. Why is it so? So many scientists tried to give explanation, they couldn't. Similarly, we don't find the missing links. And the humans have existed long before, billions of years ago. Not that they are evolved only recently. There are human skulls which show. So some of the scientists who brought out those skulls in their laboratories, they had a go down where they would dump those skulls, whichever is not fitting in Darwin's theory. Because Darwin said from the apes, humans have come. So any skull before the apes or contemporary to apes, what would they do? Put it in the go down. It's not matching with Darwin. And you all have experience of this. If the reading is 23.6, all boys are saying, and you are not getting. So you are getting 32.1. What you will do? Better to put 23.6. अरे सब लोग बोल रहे हैं सही तो होगा वो. Maybe I committed some mistake. And then later on the teacher says, all of you have committed the same mistake. That is why you got 23.6. But the actual answer is 32.1. And then you realize, alas, I would have been an odd man out because I would have brought out the truth. But you also sided with them. So when Darwin's theory came, it became popular because at that time there was no other theory available. So when he gave the theory, every scientist wanted to show that I'm aligning with him. Like there's a Haeckel fraudulent charts. I had given in my book, Your Secret Journey, Haeckel's fraudulent charts. He had made many fraudulent charts to match with Darwin. So this Piltdown man is similar thing. Between a ape and a human, there are no links. Intermediate links are not there. So some scientists came forward and proposed that we found Piltdown man in 1911, and then they wanted to keep it in British Isles Museum as an evidence for a missing link between the apes and humans. So he said it had a human-like skull and ape-like jaw. Go ahead. See, 1912, this was kept. And then in 1953, it was proved that the jaw was a filed jaw, and it was thrown out of the museum. They didn't accept it. Go ahead. See, that shows extensive black painting all over, and light air abrasive quickly dissolved by fake bones. So this kind of some scientists started cheating by filing and trying to look like an ape's jaw. You understand? Because they were too enthusiastic to prove the Darwin's theory by cooking up some things. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, what is it? See, the Neanderthal man, the poking man, whom they quoted. If you see that, sound?
Evolutionists go so far in this subject that they can even invent very different faces for the same skull. The three entirely different reconstructions made for the fossil called Zinjanthropus is a famous example showing how persistent evolutionists are in producing these
so one skull, three different face cuts. See, for the same skull.
Another intermediate transitional form fabricated by evolutionists was the Nebraska man.
It's fabricated.
This was cooked up in 1922 on the basis of a single fossil tooth. The evolutionists did not neglect to give it an ostentatious Latin name, Asperopithecus haroldcooka, or to make imaginary drawings related to it. It was soon revealed that the tooth that had been the source of inspiration for Nebraska man in fact belonged to a wild pig. Many other fossil skulls have been presented as great evidence for evolution failed one by one. Neanderthal man was advanced as evidence in 1856, dismissed in 1960. Piltdown man was advanced as evidence in 1912, dismissed in 1953. Zinjanthropus was advanced as evidence in 1959, dismissed in 1960. Ramapithecus was advanced as evidence in 1964, dismissed in 1979.
Yeah. So scientists found that they even tried, breeding, cross-breeding. It's not that breeding is some new invention or something. Even in the Vedic times you find Ravana is going in Pushpaka Viman. That Pushpaka Viman is drawn by mule. Mule is a combination of a horse and a donkey. It's called the mule. So even in Srimad Bhagavatam there is a hybrid example of a snake bird called Takshaka. He is a snake, he has also got wings. Till date, no scientist has been able to successfully breed a snake and a bird together. If they do so, if there's a snake on the ground, it can come flying into this window. Like that. Till date, they have not yet been able to breed. But it is already mentioned in the Shastra, such kind of cross-breeding. There is a breeding factor within which you can breed two animals. It's possible to breed them, just like donkey and a tiger. There is one breed, cross-breed, that kind of mentioned in the Shastra also. So, but the breeding doesn't prove evolution at all. Why? Because even after breeding they found, for example, in a dog, they tried several type of crossbreeding. Sometimes they got an Alsatian dog, sometimes they got a long dog, sometimes they got a big bulldog, sometimes they got a hairy dog, sometimes they got a shaven dog, no hair only. But big and small and long and thin and stout, but all the dogs became dogs only. Yeah. Similarly, they found also in humans also, you see the African humans, they look in a certain way, certain type of, they are pretty tall, blackish in color. They can take a basketball and put like this very easily. They are very tall like that. Similarly, look at the Mongolians, look at the Chinese, look at the Japanese, look at the Indian, look at the American. The humans may look different according to the climatic conditions, according to the country in which they are born. But from human body, only humans are coming out. You will see. From a dog's body, only dogs come out. Similarly, they tried mutation also. Mutation means interfering. Just like you can screw an electric device. Similarly, they tried mutation in the flies. Sometimes when they would mutate, a fly having a pink color wing may become a fly with a white color. But again, it tends to go back to pink color. But the flies became flies only. They tried with millions of flies. So dogs became dogs, flies became flies. So in this way, they could not show any evidence of one living body becoming another. So there are no intermediate links. Go ahead. See, first we talked about pratyaksha, what you perceive with your senses. That is the knowledge. And second is called anumana praman, which is theory based on observation and speculation. For example, in one room you find a big noise is going on, like inside a black box. Sound is going on. So there could be many things. You can predict that, some two fellows are having a big fight inside. Jao, roko. Stop those people, they'll kill each other. Somebody may say like that. Is it not true? Or it is likely that people are practicing for some drama, isn't it? In drama also big sounds come, correct? So that is possible. Then when you open the door and see there is neither drama nor fight going on, TV is on. So in this way, speculation many times will be false, because we exactly don't know what's happening inside. It's like a black box which you observe from outside and you speculate, maybe this, maybe that. Isn't it? Like, once upon a time, a group of men wanted to research on a cockroach. So they took a cockroach and they shouted at the cockroach, "Move!" they said, and the cockroach started crawling. Again said, "Move once again." Then it moved. Now they cut the legs of the cockroach, 8 legs of the cockroach. And then they said, "Move," and the cockroach was not moving at all. So they said, when you cut the leg of a cockroach, the cockroach becomes deaf. That's the conclusion they came. Do you think cockroach became deaf? So Anumana is like this. Anumana is speculation. But Anumana is very dangerous. Say, for example, you go to your chemistry laboratory in afternoon time on a very hot sunny day and you are very thirsty. And you find there is a glass kept with it looks like some lemon juice. And very near to that glass you find freshly cut lemon pieces which are squeezed out completely. That is also lying just next to the glass only. And then you look around, there is no one around. You feel that somebody has made the juice just now. Let me drink it. Will you drink it? How many of you feel it's risky to drink it? It's risky, right? No? Then you wait for some time, 5-10 minutes. And the laboratory wala comes taking his kerchief, wiping his mouth. And then you ask him, "Sir, is it lemon juice? You want to take it or can I take it?" He will say, "Hey, this is acid." Acid? If you put in your tongue will become hollow. Hole will come in your tongue. Thank God you didn't drink it, he says. Then you may ask him, "But what about this lemon paste?" "Just now I finished my lunch. After my lunch, the lemon piece is lying." Just because this glass is near the lemon piece doesn't mean this is juice. You understand? No? So it's better to always ask and not hypothesize about anything. Anumana means to hypothesize or imagine something. Go ahead. And that's what Darwin did also. He hypothesized. See, he saw all the pictures of different creatures. He imagined, like for example, the chimpanzee, for example, is a monkey which can do some 23 activities similar to human being. Like for example, it can lift a stick like this. It can take a stick and beat like this. So like this, he took certain activities of the chimpanzee and said, see, human beings are chimpanzee is doing, so that means chimpanzee must have become human being. Like that he said. This is called hypothesis. Just like for example, I am telling you, see there is a Bose speaker there. And I am telling you, this Bose speaker remained here for 10 million years. And over a period of time, gradually, it became an elephant. And the tall portion of it became the trunk of the elephant. And also you see some wire behind, that must have become the tail of the elephant. How many of you will believe? Will you believe it? And this is what he does. Who? Darwin. So I know that why 10 million years, even 1 crore years also, if it is here, it's never going to become an elephant. How many of you are convinced? You're convinced, no? Okay, how many of you are doubtful? Sorry, Prabhuji, maybe it may become elephant. Any of you? So, this is the way he has given his theory, simply by looking at the pictures. Like, they took a chimpanzee and put it in front of the computer to type, hoping that he may type something sensible. And they gave him hours and days and months together, and the chimpanzee was beating the, typing it, but nothing came out of sense. There is not a word. So you do random generation, try to find out, is there at least one meaningful word he has typed? Because monkey is a monkey, human is a human. From monkeys only monkeys come out. And that is why all these cults were rejected. You understand why these cults were rejected? 1912 proof, 1952 dismissed. You saw that, no? Why they were dismissed? Because the humans are humans and monkeys are monkeys. You never find the apes becoming humans. There is no evidence. Go ahead. Darwin himself, what he said? You see what he said? Please read it, one of you. One of you can read it. Give the mic, quickly. Quick. Don't delay.
I am a firm believer that without speculation, there is no good and original observation. After 5 years' work, I allowed myself to speculate on the subject and drew up some short notes. These I enlarged in 1844 into a sketch of the conclusions, which seemed to be, to me, probable.
Yeah. So, he says there is no other way I could do other than speculation, he says. So, after he wrote his theory and everything, he was most amazed when he went to Apalago Islands, where he found different range of new species which could not be fitted in his earlier theory. And then he lamented, he found, I made a certain type of series of evolution, but these species couldn't be coming in those series. Yeah, go ahead. See, here is one example of what Darwin says. Please read it. How the bear evolved into a monstrous whale. You all know bear is a small animal, this size animal. And a whale is bigger than this hall size. Bigger than this hall. And the whale lives for 300 years. And Darwin says that such a huge whale has evolved from a bear. How it evolved, let us hear from him. Yeah.
In North America, the black bear was seen swimming for hours with wide open mouth, thus catching like a whale, insects in the water. Even in so extreme case as this, if the supply of insects were constant and if better adapted competitors did not already exist in the country, I can see no difficulty in a race of bears by natural selection. More and more aquatic in their structure and habits, with larger and larger mouths, till a creature was produced as monstrous as a whale.
So, see how this is the kind of theory that is written, that a bear entered into water, shouting like this and trying to swim and catch the flies, and gradually he turned into a whale. It's such a huge whale. See, when you, this is like a children's story, but this is what many people in the world have taken seriously because they have no other theory. So now one of the easiest way for him to speculate about this is, he will say that over the millions of years it has happened. That's one thing he will say. Another thing he will say that natural selection. See, when we talk about natural selection, yes, nature is the one which is awarding bodies to everybody. We also know that. But who is awarding the bodies? In the first session we said, did you get your face cut? Our face was cut for you. Face was already cut for you. Now all of you look in the mirror. We all certainly would like to look more and more handsome. Correct, no? And we try our best also. Correct, no? Putting whatever color, fair and lovely, whatever you have to put, we try to make ourselves look nice. So in this way, in the first session we showed there are laws, definite laws are existing. There are physical laws, chemical laws, thermodynamics laws, mathematical laws in this world. And at macro and micro level, laws are governing. Similarly, everybody gets a particular type of body, particular parents and everything, by a superior supervision. Is it not true? So, yes, that God or the big brain is awarding bodies to different living beings through the agency of nature. In that sense, the natural selection is correct. Yes, nature only has selected, but not the way that Darwin thought. Darwin thought natural selection means just according to the environment circumstances, the living beings developed such body. That's what he thought. That's his imagination, speculation. So this is his hypothesis. But his hypothesis was disproved based on the evidences of the fossils, because there was no connecting link. Everywhere the connecting links are missing. Like a fish was never turning into a land animal. For example, a land animal, he said according to him developed wings, and then it started flying. But the birds and the land animals are hot-blooded and cold-blooded. How there can be so much difference? If land animal only became a bird, then how it can be having a different type of blood? Isn't it? So many scientists themselves started arguing, and amongst scientists there became a cleavage, division. One of them called creationists, another one called evolutionists. So evolutionists are trying to somehow modify his theory and come up with neo-Darwinian theory and things like that. And then the creationists are saying that everything has been created by a perfect intelligent design mechanism. We call it as a teleological approach. So in this way, even amongst scientists, there is a division between the scientists. So when Darwin's theory was rejected, some another scientist came up with a new theory called snowball theory. The snowball theory says that the living beings didn't evolve in this earth. The living entities must have been created in another planet, and from there they have come here. And there the evolution took place, and they must have come here. This is like shifting the problem from here to there. Is it not true? Now the question is, how did they evolve there? We can ask the question. Correct, no? So in this way, people are coming up with so many speculative theories on Anumana. Go ahead. Yeah. See, the record of the rocks clearly shows that man did not come from monkeys or apes. Human beings and apes simultaneously existed millions of years ago. Now there are evidences of humans existing billions of years ago also. There is a book by Michael Cremo and Sadaputta Prabhu also. Michael Cremo is in his book Hidden History of Human Race and Forbidden Archaeology. What he did, very intelligent thing he did. He went to all the universities in the West and he told them, whichever skull you have thrown in the go down, I would like to have them. Please give me for research. And they were saying, that is useless. They don't fit the Darwin theory, they said. He said, that is why I am interested. So he went to all the laboratories and universities and everywhere, and he clicked a photo of them, he studied them, conducted research, and Hidden History of the Human Race book, all these details he has given. And he also has joined hands with other scientists who also felt the same. And then they made a movie, Human Devolution, not Human Evolution. So human devolution means, don't think modern man is the most advanced. Modern man actually has gone way below the way the man was in the Vedic culture. In the Vedic culture, people used to speak in Sanskrit, Sanskrita Bhasha, Deva Bhasha, it is said. And in Vedas there are 1 lakh verses. You will find there is Mahabharata, Ramayana, crores and crores of verses are there, and man was very evolved and advanced in those times, and the devolution has taken place, not evolution. So he proved it. He made a movie and it became popular in America. They called that the movie which Darwinians fear to see. Like that they presented the movie, and it became very popular TV show also. So in this way, the Anumana Praman eventually will become rejected. Go ahead. So what is the problem with making mistakes in research? Somebody may say, see, don't criticize scientists. You see, like one gentleman was asked by Swami Prabhupada, when Swami Prabhupada from India went to the West to preach the message of Bhagavad Gita, he was asking a scientist, you see, in your research there are so many mistakes, he said. That scientist said, Swamiji, it is true, by committing mistakes only we evolve to better and better truths, he said. So, and then Swami asked, can you say the truth you know now is perfect? At least I can say, the scientist said, the truth I know now is more truer than yesterday's truth, he said. And then Swami asked, okay, but can you confidently say it will not change? That I cannot say, because tomorrow we may evolve and arrive at a better truth than what we know now. So that may be even more better truth than now. And then Swami Prabhupada declared his verdict. He said, that means you are always in ignorance, he said, because you are arriving at better and better imperfect relative truths. You are not able to arrive at the perfect absolute truth. Then the person asked, Swamiji, what's wrong if we can know better and better relative truths? What I knew today is better than yesterday. So what's wrong with that? Here we are explaining that point. What is the problem with committing mistakes in research? For example, a Bisleri bottle is more convenient than a brittle glass bottle. How many of you say? Correct, no? Yeah, why? Because a glass bottle may break, but a Bisleri bottle you can throw and play also. Doesn't break. But the problem is, if you keep water in a Bisleri bottle for more than 6 months, research has shown that it becomes poisonous. That is why they put the date also in the water. It shouldn't be kept more than 3 months. So, in this way, when they do, Bisleri bottle is very lightweight, easy to carry, handy. You can put it in the bag, you can turn it, twist it, nothing happens to it. From a convenience point of view, it is wonderful. But from a life preservation point of view, it is dangerous. So imagine, now the scientists know that the Bisleri bottle water kept for prolonged period is dangerous. Until the point they were not aware of this fact. Has it not been a very health hazardous thing? Correct? Like, sometimes when I go in the train, I see a farmer, he bought a big bottle of Pepsi and he drank it, half of it. And his wife drank another half. And this fellow is taking and feeding Pepsi to a small baby. Such a small baby. How many of you know the experiment scientists did? They took out a tooth and put it in a Pepsi bottle. In 1 week it dissolved. How many of you know that? You heard about it? Yeah. So is it worthy of feeding to a small baby? If you can dissolve a tooth, what can it do to the tender inside of a baby? Just think about it. So, in this way, many times, in the modern times, people are enjoying facilities and gadgets and commodities gifted by science, scientific advancement, but they were not aware of the dangers before, which they are coming to be aware now. For example, go ahead. Yeah. Now it's well-known fact that the usage of mobile is very health hazardous. When you keep it near your ears for a prolonged period of time, it causes tremendous heat. They say that the children should never be allowed to touch mobile because their skull is very soft. But even grown-up boys like all of you, if you keep mobile for 10 minutes here, you will feel the heat. Because the radiation actually causes damage to the brain. So that has been practically proved by scientific research. Some people keep the mobile in the pocket here, that affects the heart. Go below. Somebody may keep it in the pocket, that affects potency. One may not be able to beget children if they are keeping mobile here for long times in the pocket. Or somebody may think that, oh, it's so hazardous, let me keep it in the pocket, below my knee, then you can never hear the sound of somebody calling. So in this way, By research one comes to know. Go to the next one. See, here is information about the bubonic plague. Go ahead. Thousands and thousands of people died. In a single day, 50,000, 60,000 people died like that. Initially, the scientists thought that it is due to the cats. So they announced, go below, see, they will show you. They told to kill all the cats in the entire continent. They were killing all the cats. Later on, scientists proved that it is due to rats. But by that time, the number of rats had increased. And now there were no cats to eat the rats. You understand, no? In this way, when mistakes happen in research, it can claim the lives of millions of people. Imagine if they found out that the rat is the cause in the beginning, they would have used cats to kill the rats, correct, no? But they arrived at a mistaken research. So they killed all the cats. And see how it spreaded. You are seeing the map now here. The entire continent, the plague was spreading. Millions of people died in the bubonic plague because of the mistake connected by the researchers. In this way, don't think, committing mistakes in the field of science and knowing better and better relative truth is all right. It is not all right. It can lead to disastrous results. For example, I heard you all know they fill the gums. You all know that? Sometimes they use some fillers for the gum. They used to use a white one before and all. Now they use something like a polyvinyl type of filler for the gum, which looks very neat and clean and everything they were using. But suddenly they realized that this is very poisonous. But the poisonous effect doesn't come immediately. It comes only after 6-8 years only. So now they wanted to remove it now. But for removing, while removing, they have to use some apparatus to remove it, then the smoke comes out. And when that goes inside, then during the removal only people die. Can you imagine? You have put fillers, you remove, if you have to remove the filler, you will die. If you don't remove, after 6-8 years you will die. Which is better? You want to die now or in 8 years you want to die? So now they are not using that filler anymore. They were using before. Like how many of you know about microwave oven? Correct? Anybody knows the problem of microwave oven? They have conducted research. See, microwave oven is very convenient in America. It's a cold country, because when I was traveling in West, any house you go, they would immediately put the rice or the sabji in the microwave oven, quickly heat it and give. But the problem with microwave oven, it is proven that the water heated in the microwave oven was put for the plants which dried up completely. And the food cooked in microwave oven was eaten by cats and they died also. So the scientists are finding now that the microwave oven, it cooks externally, but inside the grains and everything, it remains as it is. So if you eat microwave oven cooked food, it has got terrible problems. We have one devotee in Pune who was doing research in Germany. So he sent me a 4-page article. Tell all our devotees not to use microwave ovens because of the research has proved now the disastrous effects of microwave oven. Yeah, go ahead. Now I have given you many examples now that half knowledge is a dangerous thing. You name electronic gadgets or equipment, we can tell so many problems it has. Like I told you about microwave oven, I told about Bisleri bottles, I told you about mobile, I told you about the fillers in the mouth for the teeth. So many things, and we could add many, many more things. If every one of you, if I ask you, there will be a raise of 100 hands. And every one of you can say about it. Because when we commit mistakes in research, then the result is that the danger comes over a period of time. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, the solution for one problem becomes another bigger problem. Can any of you give an example for how you wanted a solution to a problem, but that became another big problem? Any one example? Yes?
Refrigeration leads to the cooling phenomenon.
Refrigeration. It depletes the ozone layer and the ultraviolet rays come in and cause more disease. Very good. Thank you. Yes?
Vehicles create pollution.
Who?
Vehicles.
See, earlier we had horse carriages. Man thought let us have horseless carriage. But a horseless carriage produces all the carbon monoxide emission, which is poisonous. Very good. One last.
We invented the aeroplanes to go fast, but to go to air station, we have to go for 5 6 hours because of traffic.
He is saying we have created aeroplanes to travel faster, but then we have to go to the airport, which takes longer time than the plane moving to another city. Says, thank you. Go ahead. Nice example. So every one of you can think of many examples. So man thought he can be happy without God if only he has money and comforts through the scientific advancement. Go ahead. Yes, but we can never obtain complete knowledge. We only get incomplete knowledge through Pratyakshanuman. Go ahead. Yeah, it is dangerous to operate a machine with half knowledge. Here is an example which proves that. Go ahead. Yeah. See, this fellow doesn't know about this machine. He wants to try to screw it out and find out what it is. He's looking here and there. No one is around. So he doesn't know which button to press. You see, this world is also a great universe, cosmic machine. And we should know how to use this machine. Every machine has got a manual, isn't it? So you read the manual, understand it before using. Just like in a cooker, you should know how, when to remove when it whistles, when to remove or how much water to put, Similarly, you buy a bike, you should know how much oil to put, what you should put. You should put water or oil. You should know that, isn't it? Anything you buy, any commodity you buy, it has got its specification. There is the economic speed in which you drive your vehicle, where the most fuel can be saved. So, every machine, we cannot monkey with the machine. So this fellow was monkeying with the machine, which is very risky. So all these years of research has produced many nice facilities and commodities for us, which man is using. But the man is also getting to realize the dangers of manipulating matter for our enjoyment and comfort. And that is why you find modern man is gradually turning to natural type of lifestyle. Like for example, computer screen, it has got lot of small pixels, and they are moving. Because of that, continuously watching the computer screen causes various types of diseases, problems. So, and in this way, man is realizing the more we become synthetic, far away from nature, and we modify the ways of nature, to that degree we suffer. So, every one of you here may be aware how even in the West people are turning towards natural type of living. They are turning to organic food. They are trying to go for a simple type of lifestyle. People are taking out from the synthetic type of lifestyle in city and going to the farm communities for getting a puff of fresh air. Modern man is feeling that because of all this research, he has spoiled the city. He has no fresh air to breathe, no pure water to drink, and no healthy foods to eat, only junk foods. And his lifestyle has become extremely fast-paced. So in this way, we told you 4 defects. What are the 4 defects? Imperfect senses, illusion, to commit mistakes, and cheating propensity. When these 4 things are used and we only adopt Pratyaksha and Anumana, then the end result is that we are monkeying with the universal machine created by God. With our little tiny brain, we are trying to monkey it, which is very dangerous. If you go in front of a big machine and press this button or that button, it's very risky. Anything can happen. Like I remember I went to a house, where I had to take a bath. So it was a very, very posh house. So when I went into the bathroom, I didn't know which knob to turn. So when I turned one knob, suddenly water started coming from the top. Then I moved another knob, then the hot water started coming. I ran out of the bathroom. Now I told them I'm not going to try anything more. Better you only tell me which one to do. Similarly, another time I went to another house. So I didn't find any knob for opening. I said, you have made a wash basin with nothing to open. And they laughed. They said, you just keep your hand. They said, I kept the hand of water came. Because they have photo cells, sensors. So it's better to ask the person who has made it what I'm supposed to do. Then you get the knowledge. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Manual, I told you about the manual. So this is a conclusion. Man thought that he can be happy without God if he has only money and comforts. But with dollar notes in his pocket, surrounded by luxuries and comforts, all he found was only stress and depression, which we were talking about. Yes. Yes. See, this fellow is very enthusiastic to follow that girl. This is another example of what? To be illusioned. So we could give innumerable examples like this. Go ahead. So this fellow is asking, oh, just see, my dear friend, how 4 defects keep us blind to the truth. So this was thinking, is there no other way other than projection Anuman to know the complete truth that is free from all danger? So naturally, we want complete knowledge, not incomplete knowledge. Is there any way? Go ahead. Press the button, that one.
The Vedas, however, are not as well known for presenting historical and scientific knowledge as they are for expounding subtle sciences, such as the power of mantras. We all recognize the power of sound itself by its effects, which can be quite dramatic. Here, a high-pitched frequency shatters a drinking glass. So, we can easily understand that loud sounds can produce substantial reactions. It is commonly believed that mantras can carry hidden power, which can in turn produce profound effects. The ancient Vedic literatures are full of descriptions of weapons being called by mantra. For example, many weapons were invoked by mantra during the epic Kurukshetra war, wherein the Bhagavad Gita itself was spoken. The ancient deployment of Brahmastra weapons, equivalent to modern-day nuclear weapons, are described throughout the Vedic literatures. Additionally, mantras carry hidden spiritual power, which can produce significant benefits when chanted properly. Indeed, the Vedas themselves are sound vibrations in literary form and carry a profound message.
Evam parampara praptam imam rajarishayo viduhu. Lord Krishna says, the Vedic knowledge was offered by God himself at the dawn of creation. And it has been coming down in a parampara of gurus, like you see the picture on the right side. And it has been coming down, and even in the current times, the same Vedic knowledge which has been coming down the line is available for us. Go ahead. So if a child wants to know who his father is, there are 2 ways, either inductive way or deductive way. Inductive way means he can go to a doctor to do genetic fingerprint, and that will take 800 years to identify some 100 or 200 men, amongst whom one of them may be his father. I don't know, the child may not be alive for 800 years. Nobody lives even beyond 100 nowadays. So, by one's own research, it may be difficult to come to the perfect truth, perfect knowledge. Yes. But if the child goes to the mother and asks the mother who is the father, then the child comes to know all knowledge from the mother. The mother not only shows the father The mother sends a child to school also. The mother gives all of the knowledge also. So the Vedas are compared to mother and God is compared to father. So the Vedas are very vast body of knowledge. They have more than 1 lakh verses. And this knowledge has been coming down the line. Go ahead. Yeah. Just like, for example, you all have joined engineering college after ensuring that the degree you will get will be useful. Not that the college gives you a degree which will not fetch you a job. So whether college is authorized, whether the teachers are degree holders, they are authorized, and the books you are using are authorized. These things you check before you accept. Similarly, the Vedas say that the Vedic wisdom is time-tested. It is coming down since time immemorial, and it has stood the test of time, and it has been handed over by Vedic teachers who are coming in the line. So just as any authentic college awards engineering degree or whatever degree, similarly the Vedas also say that if one connects with a guru coming in the parampara and hears the Vedic knowledge in one of the paramparas, go ahead. And this is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Muhyanti Yat Surayah. So here it is said that the Supreme Truth God, He gave the knowledge to Brahma and Brahma gave it to Narada, and it's coming down the line in this way. It is not that the ancient people were simply men who were illiterates, who were tribals and who had no knowledge. They lived in Stone Age. No. The ancient man was the most wise man. And the Sanskrit verses, the depth of the knowledge being taught is so wonderful. I personally go to companies like Persistent, Cognizant, Infosys, everywhere to teach anger management, self-management, stress management based on Mahabharata, Ramayana and Bhagavad Gita. And hundreds and hundreds of engineers are coming and sitting and listening very happily. In fact, they say that soft skills courses are not helping them. So they want something from the Vedic literatures. And so Vedic literatures have a very depth of very sound, valuable knowledge, helpful both to know God more as well as in our everyday practical life. Yeah. Yes, go ahead. This is Vedavyas. 5,000 years ago, Vedavyas, a later incarnation of God, he wrote down the Vedas because he thought that Kali Yuga is coming and people will be very forgetful. They can't even remember the mobile numbers. So better we write all the verses down. So 5,000 years ago, he wrote it all down. And today the books are available, yeah. So the Vedas are a very vast body of knowledge. There are Shrutis, there are Smritis, there is Vedanta, there are Puranas, Upanishads. So it's a very vast body of knowledge. And many intelligent people, even in the modern times, have studied the Vedic literature and found great meaning. There are books coming out in the market like Management from Mahabharata. There is a book. So there is Chanakya Niti, there is Hitopadesha, and many things like that. So Vedas give both material knowledge and spiritual knowledge. Go ahead. Yeah, so we have come to the end of this presentation. So initially, you all remember hearing the 6 blind men story. The moral of the story is, because they were all blind, they could not see the truth. But the Pandita with eyes open, he could see the truth. And intelligence means to hear from somebody who has the eyes to see. Then hearing and learning. Just like I gave you the example of this. If you want to know what it is it a chalk or a pen? What is the best way to know? Hear from a person who owns this pen. So I tell everybody. So the Shabda Praman means hearing in parampara, one after another. The whole room can come to know. But don't speculate about what it is by Anumana. And don't go by Pratyaksha also. It looks like a chalk, but it is not a chalk. So here in Guru Parampara, that's one thing we'll learn. And 3 ways of gaining knowledge. And then 4 defects we discussed. And then scientific research due to 4 defects has resulted in many mistakes which led to disasters and dangers. And if we want to know perfect knowledge, which is completely perfect knowledge, then we should hear from the Vedas, which are free from 4 defects. And now you may have a question. What is the proof that Vedas are perfect? Pratyaksha and Anumana have multiple problems, we agree. But Vedas also may have problems, somebody may feel. So in order to answer this particular question, we invite you to the third session. Session 3. Show it. Next one. Next one. Next one. No, they have not put the slide. So the third session is on infallible Vedic wisdom. Is accepting Vedas, not blind faith. So that will be explained, and we will get to know more about how the Vedic knowledge is perfect knowledge, and it can bring you everlasting happiness. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Yes, one quick question, then we will go for prasad.
Thank you for presentation. My question is, you talked about 4 defects. But sir, if we see, even though people have 4 defects, they are becoming successful. Like Prime Minister, like we have Prime Minister, President, everyone. So my point is, it doesn't matter. Even if you have 4 defects, you are becoming successful, your needs are getting fulfilled. So
what is your definition of success?
Success means to leave some mark in the society by doing something big.
Okay. Like for example, in America, they have a slogan, one who leaves the world with most toys is a successful. So they say like that. And sometimes in cars they write in America. But oftentimes in America it is seen, people, most toys means what? He had bungalows, he had cars, he had multiple wives, he had jobs or industries on his own. He lived very nicely. And in his car he may put, one who leaves the world with most toys is more successful, like that. And many of those men commit suicide also afterwards. The suicide is not committed by beggars. Do you hear that some beggar committed suicide because he couldn't get food? But only rich people are committing suicide, correct, no? So they go to great heights in society and they kill themselves jumping off from buildings like that. Or even if somebody doesn't die like that, somebody goes up. And one fine morning, as we said in the beginning of the last lecture, then it's like anticlimax. Anticlimax means, I came, I saw, I ran away. That is anticlimax. But climax means I came, I saw, I conquered. So what the Shastras say, if you want real climax in your life, you come into this world, you see the world around, and then understand that in this world everything is temporary. All the successes that we experience, yes, people have gone to great heights, cinema actors, actresses, and everybody. But ultimately what happens? Miss India, can she be Miss India every year? No, she can't be. So eventually they come down on their hands and knees. And one day they die, although they don't want to. One day they get old, although they don't want to get old. So we are surprised when we see the world. I don't want my relatives to die, but they're dying. So one has to ask a question about, then what is success? Success is something that should be tangible, and that I can keep with me forever. Some people think, let my fame remain. But fame also doesn't remain for a long time. After some years, it's gone also. So what is real success? You will come to know in the third session, where we talk about the difference between animal body and human body. What are the difference between the two? In what way a human being can become truly successful, not successful in the way that modern man is thinking. Eat, drink and be merry, he is thinking successful. Live life king size, then become dog size or cat size. It has happened. Like you see, Alexander the Great, at the age of 29, he conquered the whole world. At the age of 32, he died. Why? Because he became servant of prostitutes. So in this way, what is the use of his success? He became victim of his own, slave of his own senses. You see like that. Napoleon Bonaparte. In France, if you go, they have a big statue of Napoleon written. Napoleon is France. France is Napoleon. They have written like that. But, although he conquered a lot, he was very popular in his times. He was taken to St. Helena, where he was fed with a horse urine. And he died, you see. So big people have gone to great heights and they have come down on their hands and knees. Hitler, he killed 10 million people. Everybody feared in the world how powerful he is. But at one point in time he committed suicide himself. So what kind of success is this success? Where you go to great heights and you come down on your hands and knees. So in the next session, let us learn about what is true success in life. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Now you all take prasad now. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.